Hello, it's Wednesday and it's Murdle time. So I haven't done one of these for a while, so I wasn't very well last week. And indeed, the week before that, I'd already filmed that week's video, if that makes sense. So I actually haven't solved a Murdle puzzle for 3 weeks. So we shall see. We shall see if I still remember how to do it or if this video is a complete disaster. Anyway, let's start. Let me read you the description and the clues, and we'll see how we get on. So we are on puzzle number 6. Oh no, we're not. We're on puzzle number 7. TikTok, he died. Oh no, I've done that one as well. See, this video is going really well already. Okay, we're on puzzle number 8, a deadly tour. Despite the deadly voyage, Lady Violet was determined to continue her party as usual, so she gave Logico a tour of the grounds. During the tour, he was able to solve another murder, the death of the original tour guide. So the suspects are Baron Maroon, an incredibly haughty man who famously holds a grudge. Nobody wants to offend the Baron, at least nobody who's still alive. He's 6'2", right-handed, has hazel eyes and red hair. The second suspect is Lady Violet. She is actually a rather charming tour guide, and her knowledge of the island's history is vast. She's 5 foot tall, right-handed, has blue eyes and blonde hair. And the final suspect is Signor Emerald, an Italian jeweller of great renown. Signor Emerald has travelled the world in search of rare precious stones, which are always falling out of his pockets. He's 5'8", left-handed, has brown eyes and black hair. The locations are the cliffs, which are outdoors. Huge cliffs surround the main island. The docks are the only way to leave. The statue of Lady Violet, which is also outdoors. An enormous statue of Lady Violet. Lady Violet's father. There's a mask. Oh, sorry. I've read that completely wrong. It's the statue of Lord Violet. An enormous statue of Lord Violet, Lady Violet's father. There is a mask over his face. And the guest house, which is indoors. If Logico hadn't seen the main mansion, this would be the biggest house he'd ever seen. And the possible weapons are a bag of acorns, which is medium weight. Tasty enough to eat, easy enough to bury, heavy enough to kill. A deck of tarot cards, which is lightweight. You can use these murder-themed tarot cards to read your future. And a bottle of wine, which is medium weight. Watch out for stains, because the red doesn't come out. Okay, so the clues are: the tallest suspect had known the person who brought a deck of marrow... Huh? Oh, they're marrow cards, not tarot cards. What are marrow cards? Anyway, the tallest suspect had known the person who bought a deck of marrow cards for years. Okay. The bag of acorns was found outside and something had gotten into it. Okay. A marrow card, the scimitar of death, was found on the cliffs. That's a bad sign. Okay, so we know the marrow cards were on the cliffs. Brown eyes were reflected in the bottle of wine. So the only person who's got brown eyes is Signor Emerald. So we know he had the bottle of wine. And a masked stone face had gazed down upon the murder of the guide. So we know that the murder took place by the statue of Lord Violet. Right, I'm going to flip the camera and crack on and solve this mystery. Right, okay, let's go. So, the tallest suspect had known the person who bought a deck of marrow cards for years. So, we know that Baron Maroon is the tallest suspect. So, if he knew the person who bought the deck of marrow cards, then he didn't bring the marrow cards himself. So, we can put across there. The bag of acorns was found outside and something had gotten into it. So, we know the bag of acorns wasn't found in the guest house. So, acorns, guest house, cross. A marrow card, the scimitar of death, was found on the cliffs. So, the marrow cards were on the cliffs. Which means the bottle of wine must have been in the guest house. Brown eyes were reflected in the bottle of wine, so we know that Signor Emerald, who's the only person with brown eyes, had the bottle of wine. Cross that one off as well. So the bag of acorns must have been at the statue of Lord Violet, and we know that's where the murder took place. So we just need to figure out who was at the statue of Lord Violet. Okay, right, let's continue. Or indeed, who had the bag of acorns. And it looks like Lady Violet must have had the marrow cards, because I've crossed off the other ones for some reason. I can't remember why. So therefore, the murderer must be Baron Maroon with the bag of acorns at the statue. I haven't ticked off anything in this bottom box, but I'm fairly confident in my answer. So I'm going to flip the camera back and see if I'm correct. Okay, I've got my little Deductive Logico bookmark in the back there to mark where the answers are. So let's see if this 3-week absence from doing Murdle has actually made me better at it, because I was pretty terrible before. I feel like I've done this one quite quickly. So it is number 8. So it was Baron Maroon with a bag of acorns at the statue of Lord Violet, as I said it was. Lady Violet declared this was a capital offence. As she explained to Logico, when the Civil War ended, so the so-called Free Draconia never made a claim to the island, to this island, and so it became an extrajudicial, that's easy for you to say, an extrajudicial territory. Unlike those barbarous Reds, we do not execute our prisoners, we simply ask them to leave. So, a successful mystery solved. Let's see what next week's mystery is going to be called. And so next week's mystery is The End of the Tour and a Life. So it's mystery number 9. So as always, if you want to play along, this is the book to get. More Killer Puzzles, More Killer Puzzles, or Murdle Volume 2, as it is in the US. There'll be links in the description to the video to my bookstore, where you can buy a copy from an independent bookstore, and I get a bit of commission should you do that. So if you want to play along in a future video, that's the way to do it. But anyway, I will leave it there and say, as always, thank you very much.